This is my grandfather, Roland Warnock. He was a real cowboy. Not a TV cowboy like Roy Rogers, but a real Texas cowboy. In 1915, he was 19 years old and working for Mr. Sam Lane on the Guadalupe Ranch. The Guadalupe was located in the Rio Grande Valley of Texas, not far from the fabled King Ranch. And he told me this story. He said that during this time, he buried 2 men who were unarmed and shot in the back by Texas Rangers. One of the killers would later become the leader of the Texas Rangers. The Texas Rangers. They've been the heroes of dime novels, movies, and even a television series. This elite law enforcement agency is filled with colorful characters like Captain Bill McDonald, who, it is said, would charge hell with a bucket of water. He also first uttered that famous phrase, "One riot, one ranger." But despite their glorious past and their present-day accomplishments, a dark, unpleasant chapter that most people are not aware of took place in 1915 and 1916. It happened for just a brief time in South Texas while they were pursuing border bandits.
Te has alejado de tu gente mucho tiempo ya. Eres un terco, pero tú tienes razones. El dolor que tú sientes nunca te dejará. No te metas.
My father was a peaceful man. He never was a bandit. It was a lie.
La reina de corazones te amará. Hasta hoy ella siempre te ha dado el amor que tú mereces, pero tú no sabes.
I would say about close to 90% of the Mexican Americans who had owned land in 1848, about 90% of them had already lost their lands.
By about 1918, there were as many as 1,000 people running around the valley calling themselves rangers. Most of them, about 900 of them, were special rangers. And those were appointed by the governor who served, men that served with no pay.
It got to the point almost where anybody who looked like he might be a bandit was a fair target. People shot first and asked questions afterwards.
Well, it irritates me to have to go through without a father for all my life. Well, I would have liked to see justice to find out why it was done, because in our hearts and our mind, we know that my father was a peaceful man.
He was denied having his dad at such a very young age. He never got to see his daddy because of what these men did. I really don't know what was going through the Rangers' mind, but they made a mistake, and they've never admitted it.
This story that we've been seeing in this documentary is inspired in part by the tale a grandfather told a grandson about something he witnessed. Imagine how much more powerful that story is to a grandson hearing a story about his grandfather being killed. And imagine multiplying that by hundreds, if not thousands of times. Because for the decade 1910 to 1920, there were no doubt thousands of outrages along the lines of innocent Mexicans being slain by Texas Rangers, other local officers, or by outraged posses who were inspired by the lawlessness of the Rangers themselves. So I think it's important that we set the record straight, that the official denial that has gone on in the textbooks and the official stories about the state of Texas be called what it was, a big lie. And that we come to understand that what has been a very unifying symbol for much of Anglo-Texas has been a very divisive one if we look at Texans as a whole. Texas is big enough, the time has come for us to admit to our faults, acknowledge what happened, and move on.
Tu corazón, quizás llueva, pero sabes saldrá el arco iris. Deja que el amor te llene antes de morir.